These 6 exercises, really good use of your time. You can do them at home. It takes hardly any time to do it. The warm-up doesn't take very long to get into it. And it's a great way of building good general all-round strength and conditioning for the core relevant to climbing. Hi, welcome back to another Lattice 6-minute workout video. Today I'm going to be going through a workout that you can do at home or at the gym, and it's a core workout just on the floor using some really minimal equipment. So you don't need a bar, you don't need any TRX equipment, nothing like that. It's really simple and it's a great use of your time if you have 6 minutes spare to do something to work towards your improvements in core conditioning relevant to your climbing. Now, the exercises that I'm going to show you today can be all linked together. I'm going to be doing them in 30-second blocks followed by a 30-second rest, and then looping those to complete six exercises in a row. If you're fitter, stronger, more conditioned than others, then you can add these together and you can start to create 12-minute blocks of work, 18 minutes, 24 minutes of work continuously, just going round in a round robin. One thing I want to note is that I've got a couple of pieces of equipment here which do help. You can do them without these, but one is to have something to be able to hook your feet under. If I'm at home, I quite often do this under the sofa. In this particular scenario, I've got a couple of dumbbells of 15 kilos that I can tuck my toes under just to help with some of the movements a little bit. And I also have an additional weight here, which I'm going to use for one of the exercises, which just makes the intensity a little bit higher. If you don't have weights, you can use all sorts of kind of makeshift items. I've done all the way up to using a 4-gallon water container and using that as a weight. And you can use smaller water containers, you can use sandbags, you can hold a weights vest. There's all sorts of options available for this. So I have my timer set up, which is going to be running for a full six minutes, 30 seconds of work, 30 seconds of rest, and we're going to continue and cycle through 6 different exercises. So if I start my timer, and hopefully you're going to follow along to this, because we're going to do this in real time, and you just need a bit of floor space and to be warmed up, ready to go. So if you're ready, I'm ready. We're going to start with a dish tuck, one of the first floor exercises that I learned from the GB diving team. These guys are amazing at core, and we're going to go in 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, so going from a dish to a tuck, a dish to a tuck. So we're really trying to extend out those legs nice and straight each time and coming above our head with our hands. If you find this exercise too hard, then you can come to this position here, so you don't have to extend those hands above your head to make that a little bit harder. But highest intensity exercise is to above your head. That's 30 seconds up. So I'm going to get my 30 seconds of rest now. And with that exercise there, you want to try and keep your lower back, or rather your upper back, from touching the floor. You really want to try and raise that off the floor, really engaging your abs on this exercise, and on each movement extending out into a really nice straight position. It's really great to actually kind of over-exaggerate that tensioned position at the end of the movement. We're going to go 5 seconds, and we're now going to do some kettlebell twists or weighted twists. So lifting our weight here, and then we're rotating either side. Now what I like to do with this one here is do this between halfway down a sit-up exercise. So I'm not right at the top here doing the exercise, I'm halfway down, but likewise you can see my lower back and upper back aren't touching the floor. You really want to extend either side, all the way, full range of movement, and that's 30 seconds there. With that exercise, I started that one really light, almost down at body weight, first of all, just to get used to it. Interestingly, I found that when I started to work up the weights on that one and get it really high, it really improved my front lever positions as well. So it was a really nice transfer on that particular exercise. Next up is we're going to do some sit-ups. So standard sit-ups, but we're going to go the full range of movement. And I'm going to make this one a little bit harder with some weight here. So if you want to make it quite a bit hard on that exercise, then we can bring our weight higher up. So we're increasing the lever. Really want to extend it out. Bring it above your head. I think this exercise is really good for climbing because it works also your hip flexor strength as well. You have to be a little bit careful not to get tight hip flexors after doing a lot of this. That's my 30 seconds up. Resting again. And after this, we're going to be moving on to a marching plank exercise. So I'm going to be flipping over and coming onto my front. I'm going to be working my lower back, my glutes as well on this particular exercise. I'm going to go in about 10 seconds. And for this one here, is you really want to try and think about, I'll get my stopwatch and bring it around, extending that range, that tension all the way through the body. So nice plank position. Really tensing up on the lower back and the glutes at the top of each of those range of movements. And try not to kip the hip, so you're not rotating through the hip on each exercise. Really tensing the core. Okay, that's 30 seconds. Flip around again. And we're back to a variation on that original exercise where we had the dish tuck, where we were closing from fully open to fully closed. And this time we're going to be staying much more open and working less on the hip flexor strength involved with the movement and more on the abdominals. Two different variations we can do on this one here is we can bring our hands above our head and paddle our feet. Again, you can see my upper back isn't touching the mat, so I'm not down here. I'm up. Gets really hard. You can bring your feet, our hands forward. You can also create some variations in this one here and become a little bit more acute in terms of the angle you're working. Start to work the hip flexors a lot more now. Tired hip flexors, bring it down a little bit easier. That's my 30 seconds up. So another 30 seconds of rest now. You can do this really easily with a partner as well, so you can keep swapping between those exercises, a little bit more motivating. Or likewise, you can just use it to catch your breath and give you a bit of a small intermittent recovery between that and your next set. Last exercise we're going to do is another one for the back. And this is a Superman exercise. So lying on our front, and then from here is we're extending up. Really working posterior chain of muscles in the core. Try and get a good range of movement. A lot of climbers will find it more comfortable bringing their elbows out to the side rather than extending up here. This one aggravates my shoulder a little bit. Get a little bit of shoulder impingement, so I bring my hands to the side. That's time. And that's your full 30 seconds, repeated 6 times for 6 different exercises. And what I could do now is I've got 15 seconds rest, and I can loop it round again to that initial exercise with the dish tuck and repeat that another 3 times. But these 6 exercises are really good use of your time. You can do them at home. It takes hardly any time to do it. The warm-up doesn't take very long to get into it. And it's a great way of building good general all-round strength and conditioning for the core relevant to climbing.